All right, so staying with issues of justice, the Department of Justice and Correctional Services says it has nothing to hide about the issues surrounding the prison escape of Thabo Bester. The department says it does not understand why private security company G4S appears to be reluctant to tell the public about its role in the matter. The company failed to appear before Parliament, citing contractual issues with the department, where Deputy Minister Phathekile Holomisa says that the public needs to know what happened. Right, so analysis on this, we are joined by Thabo Masombuka. He's a legal and transformation analyst. Thabo, a very good afternoon to you. Thank you for your time here on the SABC.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you and your viewers.
Right, so Thabo, in light of the investigation that is currently underway, perhaps we could look at, the impact that the prison escape of Thabo Bester has had on the victims to date. Whilst these investigations are ongoing, victims that have suffered from Thabo Bester may be living in fear all over again. Walk us through what's occurring on that front as this justice delayed is justice denied saga continues.
Justice delayed is justice denied indeed, even if the matter at hand has been ventilated and disposed with a conviction. What makes even this matter particularly interesting and concerning, especially to victims of this perpetrator, is that they've not been informed, they've been kept in the dark until media reports suggested that this convict has escaped for over a year ago. You should recall that over and above the right to protection, the right to safety entrenched in the Constitution to all South Africans, victims of particular crimes perpetrated against them have, in terms of what is called the Victims' Charter, that has been consolidated by the Department of Justice, have got the right to safety, have got the right to information, got the right to legal recourse arising out of any action or inaction by a state department as a result of incidences that have resulted in the manner in which this matter has been handled. Quite frankly, this is a disrespect to the public, disrespect to the Constitution, disrespect to the victims of crimes, and disrespect to the law enforcement authority in this country.
So on the back of that, are you saying that with justice delayed, being justice denied, as the justice system somewhat failed them?
Someone not only failed them, but someone exposed and actually, place them at higher risk. You should remember that when complainants of criminality go to the police station to open a case, they do that with the trust, the belief that their matters will be taken to court. Those that have been accused will be provided a fair trial, and once convicted by a court of law, they will be sentenced to serve justice, meaning they will be kept away from society for the longest of time for their criminality that they've perpetrated. And once kept in custody, in lawful custody for that matter, and there's a breach of security as a result of which these people escape in the manner that this Bester has, it is a clear contravention of the rights of those victims, of those complainants, of those witnesses who went there, because now it means who knows where this Thabo Bester is? Who knows who is operating with? Who knows who is he working with? Who knows who is he associated with? It has firmly placed the safety of these victims, the safety of the witnesses at serious jeopardy, and they have got all the legal recourse available against the Minister of Justice, against the Minister of Police, even against the President of the country.
Thabo, before we get, to return to the issue of the recourse for the victims of Thabo Bester, I just want to revert to an article that I read by Mpumelelo Mkabela, where he writes that this case shines a spotlight on the microcosm of a bigger problem at large, saying that unless the state reasserts its primary task to provide national security while simultaneously creating a culture of respect for the rule of law, the law of the jungle will become the norm. Would you concur with these sentiments? If so, why?
I fully agree with Mpumelelo, because all what this case has done has not just exposed the ineptitude of our prison system, it has also exposed the deep-rooted nature of a corrupt system existing in our criminal justice value chain. Right from the police who are supposed to effect an arrest, victims of crime in this country will tell you that they've found it extremely hopeless to go to police stations, to open a mere case of assault, a mere case of theft, a mere case of rape, a mere case of fraud. Because you know what happens? The very police officers who are supposed to effect the arrest go to the very so-called accused suspects and solicit bribery, and then says, we have a case against you, we can make this case disappear and go away, please give us something. And those who are often supposed to be at the end means of the law are the ones who are actually paying themselves out of this. So inadvertently, once the system is corrupted, it leaves us to result in what is called the law of the jungle. Because do you know what's going to happen? Fathers, parents, families of victims of crimes will no longer rely on the police system, will no longer rely on the criminal justice system. They will do what is called self-justice, self-perpetuated justice, which will mean, for a lack of a better way, taking the law into their own hands, because they no longer have a trust in the criminal justice system. Because when people, what makes even this matter worse is that this is supposed to be one of the so-called top prisons in the country, a privately ran PPP, which is a public-private partnership between the Department of Justice and a private security prison firm, which is supposed to have even a much more reinforced criminal protection services. But then you have this type of escape. It really renders the criminal justice system a mockery, and it really places us as citizens at high risk, and all that it means is that we need to take the law into our own hands. And guess what? Those who take the law into their own hands in pursuit of their own private and public protection are the ones who end up being
Thabo, I'm just, in the interest of time, I want to cut you short there because I know there's so much to unpack. To date, we can't ignore the actions taken by the minister. We obviously seen that the G4S contract has been terminated. They've fired the prison managing director, Johan Taron. And, at the time, though, we still haven't found Bester and Dr. Nandipa, who's also implicated somewhat. Allegedly. I just want to, in conclusion, bring the conversation, to a wrap. We're looking at the legal recourse and the rights that victims have going forward. And I wonder if you could explore just very quickly what this looks like. We also know that Thabo did not serve his full sentence. So what should they be exploring at this point? What about those impacted by Dr. Nandipa herself within her own practice?
Look, the immediate recourse available to victims here is to obviously apply for urgent and immediate victim protection program, which must be offered by the state, because no one knows the whereabouts of these convict on the run. And this victim protection program is going to, at least for the time being, assure them of some relative sense of reaction. And we must appreciate actions taken by the minister and action taken by the Correctional Department to ensure that they react to this. But that's all it can be. It's knee-jerk reaction to what has already happened. What we need in this country is a proactive criminal justice system that is going to ensure that incidents of this nature can be detected, avoided, prevented. Because there's no use in acting after the fact and say that we have taken measures. The reality of the matter is that this escape just on its own has placed the criminal justice system into serious laughability and jeopardy. You must remember, this happens against the backdrop of an attempted escape by a certain Donovan Chester somewhere in Pretoria. So it does tell you that as long as you have not dealt with the rot within the system, we are going to continue to be exposed in this type of scenario, and all you do as government is to react.
Thabo, this is shining a spotlight on, how this case can be used to respect or reinstall respect for the rule of law, and also as a deterrent, perhaps for future crimes that is committed in a similar manner or related manner. Let's leave that conversation there. More questions at this point as we continue to monitor and see the developments of that case that is unfolding, receiving a lot of attention on the back of that. Thabo Masombuka, he's a legal and transformation analyst, weighing in on the back of the latest news coming in Department of Justice and Correctional Services, saying that it has nothing to hide about the issues surrounding the prison escape of Thabo Bester. To date, victims have been affected. We're exploring the recourse that they can explore as developments unfold.